with the Insiders, Darren Dreger, Pierre LeBrun, and Chris Johnston. Gentlemen, while we're here at the Board of Governors meetings in Colorado Springs, the big news from the NHL on the day comes out of Winnipeg, where Connor Hellebuyck back on the ice. And, of course, Dregs, everybody's asking the question, okay, so now what? When's he going to be ready to play?
Well, we're counting it in days now. We're not looking at weeks or even possibly longer than that. So great news for the Winnipeg Jets, for Connor Hellebuyck, and obviously for Billy Guerin and Team USA, because they've been keeping close tabs. Hellebuyck was on the ice on Monday. He continued with his practicing, mostly goalie movements, nothing more than that on Tuesday. But he felt so good afterwards that they feel like they can elevate more quickly. So the goalie movements will translate into taking shots. Connor Hellebuyck, believe it or not, actually wanted to play perhaps as early as this weekend. And the Jets staff are like, hold on a minute here, let's just back off. So it is highly, highly unlikely that he'll be back in the crease of the Winnipeg Jets this weekend, but I'd look to have him back in the net starting for the Jets potentially next week.
Hellebuyck and Jets fans chomping at the bit. And while we're here in Colorado Springs, some important meetings were taking place in Florida as well, and we're whittling down that list for Team Canada, Pierre.
Yeah, so spoke with Doug Armstrong, the GM of Team Canada, after they wrapped up their 3 days of meetings, and what Doug Armstrong said is they've whittled down that list that they had around 40 on November 10th when they met in Toronto. That list now is down in the low 30s, to quote Doug Armstrong. So they've got more players on the list where they're continuing to scout between now and December 31st, and that's what they're going to do now, is send their GMs again out on the road to look at those final 7 or so roster decisions they have left in terms of the bubble guys. So it's getting there. Now, he made the point of also telling me that they haven't written off anyone from Four Nations yet. I find that hard to believe when it comes to Samuel Montembeault myself, but I think he was referring to the skaters, so almost there. They've cut that list down again.
The BOGs today had a very special guest. The FBI was here. And I guess given what's happened on the gambling front in other sports league, the NHL just needs to take this so seriously.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of how seriously they do take it. And look, this isn't new in the sense that last month when the general managers got together, similar kind of presentation made there. We know later this month that the coaches will be part of a call with the same kind of information. And really, I think you can't be too careful when it comes to this, because there's the obvious stuff that I think everyone knows. You can't gamble on hockey. That's pretty clear. But there's a little more nuance at times in terms of what you can do legally, what you can tell people. And part of the message delivered to the governors was that if anyone contacts you with any sort of suspicious type of questions, the league wants to hear about it. And so, look, we've seen issues crop up in these other leagues, notably the NBA of late, and the NHL is going to do everything it can to try to prevent that.
And Pierre, another gem you kind of uncovered with these meetings and the guys here coming up, a special day in Montreal, January 29th.
Well, I would say our colleague François Gagnon of RDS uncovered it, but I did follow up on it on this day. I spoke to Joe Sakic, the president of the Colorado Avalanche, and he confirmed that it's looking very likely that the Avs will wear their Nordiques retro jerseys again for the game in Montreal on the January 29th, which requires league approval, which the league will sign off on when the Habs and the Avalanche are ready to make this news official. So you'll have the blue Nordiques jerseys and the red Habs jerseys. That should be pretty spectacular.
And part of what's become an annual tradition at the Board of Governors meetings, Pierre asks the commissioner, Gary Bettman, hey, what about your future? Has the executive committee given you any idea about you and your future as the commissioner of the NHL? And, well, we'll give the final word on insider trading to the commissioner.
Great. Well,
any discussion about your future with the executive committee?
Safe travels, happy holidays.
Thank you.